it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for August 2022. So we're coming into August hot. Of course, we still are very much in Leo season, the heart and soul of the zodiac, bringing us a lot of fire, a lot of spice, a lot of drama, a lot of excitement. And of course, jumping into this brand new month, we are still riding off the coattails of the new moon in Leo on July 28th. And we are riding off of the electric sudden shifts, sudden events, sudden paradigm shift of Uranus and the true note. This particular energy is very electric. It is setting us up and preparing us for the Lionsgate portal on 8/8. This is bringing a lot of drama, a lot of realization, a lot of awareness to what it is that we have to boss up, actually take control over, actually make a move about if we want to see different results in our life. So coming into August, we have a brand new life lesson, a brand new chapter of teachings that we are going to have to learn throughout the month. August is the 8th month of the calendar, and what we know to be true about the number 8 is it is the infinity symbol. It is where energy gets transitioned into a new form. When we talk about number 8 in astrology, we talk about Scorpio energy. That is all about transformation, aligning us with new passions, with our new desires. But of course, there are some elements that have to die, that have to be just shut down, completely closed upon if we have any chance of renewing ourselves, rebirthing ourselves, and resurrecting ourselves into a brand new form. This 8 energy is very, very split because, of course, there is a split going on in the earth right now from 3D to 5D. There's a split going on within us between old self and new self. There's a split between ego self and higher self. And there is a split between the timelines that our soul needs us to choose upon. We have a timeline jump coming up on the 8/8 portal. What does this mean for us? Well, collectively speaking, this is an opportunity for a new group of people to wake up. This is also an opportunity for those that have awakened to level up. And individually speaking, this is a time, a choice point for our higher selves, our souls, to choose a timeline, a storyline, a path, a direction that is more authentic, more raw, more in alignment with our heart and soul on what it is that our soul needs in order to reach its highest and fullest potential. So July was all over the place, giving us opportunities to learn a little bit of balance, learn a little bit about ourselves through personal relationships, through the relationship that we have with the rest of the world. And of course, definitely showed us where it is that we were done with certain patterns and behaviors, relationships, jobs, basically timelines, in order for us to rise above, to choose something different, to vibrate at a higher frequency so that we can choose a different path and direction as we come into August. So of course, Leo season is still very much alive. The fire energy is creating a spark, creating a fire, creating a flame for us to use to motivate us, to inspire us, to push ourselves forward. This Leo energy is asking us to truly open up, to listen to our heart and soul, to truly blossom into our heart and soul's fullest potential. But of course, there are some ego blockages that we are going to have to address through the highs and the lows of August before we jump into Virgo season. Before I get into all of that, let's break it down. Let's start from the start and see what August has to actually offer us. So again, like I said, we're coming into the month like a bat out of hell with Uranian energy that shocks us, that awes us, that makes us need to adapt to change very, very quickly. The true node is the soul's path, the destiny point that we need to be on in order to reach our soul's fullest potential. And we have Mars, the god of war, jumping into this mix, giving us the physical energy, the drive, the passion needed in order to be aggressive enough to do what needs to be done to actually jump into our physical circumstances and rearrange things so that we can be on the right path. The right path of what? Well, first of all, self-love, self-worth. The right path of sustainability, the right path of self-sustainability so that we can stop relying on outside systems and groups in order to support us. This is a shift in our energy that, of course, gets mirrored back through our personal relationships, through our money matters, and many of us are on the way up. We are leveling up. We are choosing to stand in our power. We are choosing to take control over our lives because we've sat back and let other people be the starring role of the movie that should be ours, and look at where that has gotten us. So we're definitely coming in with a lot of oomph, a lot of electricity. Mercury, the ruler of the mental plane, ruling over information, communication, and how it is that we express ourselves, will be moving out of Leo and stepping into his second home of Virgo energy. This is really going to help us take the big ideas, the big opinions, the big dream, the big vision that we should have realized while Mercury was in Leo, and be able to break it down into very small, manageable pieces so that we can actually see the fruition, the manifestation of some of these dreams actually come true. In its great, big, grand state that it kind of got actualized in under this Leo energy, we can't do anything with it. It just stays as a hope and as a dream. The Virgo energy, being an earth energy ruled over by an air energy of Mercury, rules over the mental plane, meaning we're able to do a deep dive in dissecting what needs to happen in order for these big plans to actually come into manifestation. We can focus on the details. We take that big picture, we chop it up into small pieces. We look at restructuring, reorganizing our thoughts, our emotions, our physical circumstances to actually give us a solid foundation for us to bring these dreams into our reality. Now, don't be fooled. Mercury in Virgo, in its place of power, is a very powerful placement. Our minds are going to be on blast. We are going to feel a lot of mental pressure. We are going to feel the urgency to solve some of our problems. The Virgo energy is a healing energy. It's a fixing energy, but we have to do a deep dive, dissecting our psyche, dissecting our emotions and our physical circumstances to get down to the nitty-gritty of the primary root cause that has triggered a lot of the issues that we're now currently looking to solve. We have the first quarter moon at 13 degrees in Scorpio. This is going to be another reminder of the life lesson that we're currently in, with the true nodes of the moon being on the Taurus and Scorpio axis, giving us flashbacks to eclipse season, giving us insight to what needs to die, what needs to end, what we have to let go of, what we have to surrender to in order to create the space, in order for new elements to actually have the space to be born into. The first quarter moon is always a point of action, decision, choice. It's literally the first time that we pull the trigger on some of the things that we knew we wanted to bring to life under the new moon in Leo. But in Scorpio energy, this is going to be transformative. We know that we have to really examine the shadow work, the shadow elements of our ego, our unconscious self, to really bust up the blockages to see where it is that we are our own worst enemies, creating a non-rapid progression of the kind of changes that we want to see. We are holding ourselves back. And under the sun being in Leo right now, there is a bright light shone on where it is that we've been playing in the darkness, where we've been playing in the shadows. And in order to truly stand in our power, to be seen, to be heard, to be acknowledged, to be our best self, we have to come out of the shadows of the Scorpio energy. We have to stand proud in the limelight. The sun in Leo is showing us the way, and this first quarter moon will provide us with a choice point on where it is that we're going to boss up, where it is that we are going to choose to follow our heart, our soul, our passion, our desires, and where it is that that means that we have to close the door on playing small, dabbling in the darkness, where it is that we have to examine where it is that we've been blocking our own blessings, our own progress. And from there, we are going to start seeing things really change at a very accelerated rate. Of course, we have the Lionsgate portal on 8/8. The Lionsgate portal is a very, very particular star seed alignment with the Sirius star system. This is our higher form of intelligence. This is huge amount of light codes coming in, huge information being downloaded to our crown. This gives us the opportunity to either stay in the path, in the direction that we're currently walking because our soul has decided that where we're currently at is teaching us the life lessons that we need to reach our soul's fullest potential and expression, or where it is that we have to jump the storyline, have to jump the timeline, have to renegotiate some soul contracts. How do we utilize this energy? We visualize. We hold a vision, a dream so freaking strong in our mind's eye that we actually want to be living. We create the kind of emotion, the kind of excitement, the kind of energy, vibration, and frequency within ourselves that we would be experiencing if we were living said reality. This is how we manifest. This is how we jump timelines. Now, just understand that your soul, your higher self, knows what is best. Your ego self only knows the information that it has from this 3D realm, while our higher self, our soul self, knows the whole plan, knows the whole script. So many of us will be seeing a dramatic shift in our circumstances after the 8/8 portal, but nonetheless, the 8/8 portal is the activation, the acceleration to see a dramatic shift in our timelines collectively and individually. We will have Venus move into Leo on the same day that we have the full moon in Aquarius. Now, thank goodness that Venus is moving into Leo because her time in Cancer is very emotional, very hypersensitive. We're feeling very lonely, feeling very disconnected. We're almost sad at this point in time because we're recognizing that we feel isolated and alienated in a life in which we've created ourselves. The Venus in Cancer energy has kind of alluded to us where it is that we haven't been taking very good care of ourselves because we've been too distracted in taking care of those we love. We've had our emotional boundaries tested and in some cases destroyed while Venus has been in Cancer energy. But what we know to be true is that jumping into Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac, means that we are doing a whole lot of heart chakra healing, recognizing where it is that the guards and the walls have been too thick, too tall around our heart space, creating a prison instead of creating a place of safety and security. When we let this guard, this wall down, we are in alignment with our raw, vulnerable, powerful self. We, with Venus in Leo, are not only doing a whole lot of heart healing, but we are letting our hair down to have a little bit more fun. We adopt a more playful energy. We get very real on what it is to actually have fun with romance, with creative projects, with this childlike innocence. This is our inner child busting out in our adult form to create a little bit more fun where things have gotten a little bit too serious, too weighted, too somber. The fact that Venus in Leo is going to be very healing for us to figure out what it is that we want, need, and desire for our emotional wants, needs. This is going to be a game changer because, again, it's happening on the same day that the full moon in Aquarius is taking place. The full moon in Aquarius is going to illuminate for us where it is that we have been sacrificing our own wants, needs, and desires, our own happiness to do what we think other people want us to do. That Aquarian energy is about the collective, while the Leo energy is about our individual selves. This particular contrast, let's say, is going to be a huge reminder on where it is that our self-love, self-healing journey began just 2 years ago. We had back-to-back full moon in Aquarius events, and this particular Aquarius event is at 19 degrees, smack dab in the middle of the sign, which is going to give us a beautiful reflective point on the past, how it is that we got here, standing in the present moment to gauge what it is that we're going to do in moving forward. Are we going to continue to put other people's wants, needs, and desires before our own? Are we going to continue to put our happiness on the back burner? Are we going to continue to play it small just so that we don't stand out in the crowd? Or are we going to recognize that we were never meant to fit into the crowd and that we are 100% meant to stand in the spotlight and be the star of the movie that is us? Now, that full moon in Aquarius is going to be a little bit heavy, a little bit weighted. We have a whole Saturn issue taking place in this full moon in Aquarius, but we need that heaviness. We need that seriousness in order for us to get real, get grounded, and contemplate what it is that we're going to do for ourselves, first and foremost, from here, while being able to do what is right, what is fair, what our heart and soul needs us to do individually, while still being able to rise to the commitments, to the roles, to the responsibilities that we've made to other people. It is going to be a push and pull. It is going to be a full opposition. We are going to feel like we're being ripped in two. But again, the Lionsgate portal this month is about the division of self, choosing the path that our heart and soul wants us to pursue over what our ego thinks is right, thinks makes sense, thinks that other people would approve over the choice points that we approve for ourselves. It is going to feel a little bit like a tug of war, but it is absolutely necessary as it prepares us to jump into a brand new reality. The last quarter moon at 26 degrees in Taurus is going to be a refresher on eclipse season, on the lesson that we're currently in with the nodes of the moon. At 26 degrees in Taurus, that is actually the exact degree that some of our eclipse events happened upon, which means we have to go back to April and May, first of all, to kind of review all that has changed, all that has transpired since. But the last quarter moon of any moon phase is kind of like a full accumulation of information, of perspectives, of emotions, of aha moments that we would have received since the full moon in Aquarius. 26 degrees is the ending of a chapter, a closing of a door. And in Taurus energy, this is about our physical realm, our physical circumstances, our physical body. This is about routines, relationships, money matters. This is about self-love, self-value, self-worth. This, again, feeding off of all that would have been triggered and activated under the full moon Aquarius, is coming full circle for us to make a complete decision on what we're done with, what we're leaving behind, and what we're ready to actually focus on as we move into new timelines and create a new reality. Just in time for Mars, the god of war, to move into Gemini. Let me tell you, this is one of the most intense aspects that we will be having all year, because Mars will be going retrograde. Mars will technically be in Gemini energy until January of 2023. The god of war taking up his fight on the battlefield of the mind in Gemini energy is going to be explosive. First of all, we're very aggressive in our mental plane, sorting through ideas, sorting through the process, the planning, the strategy, the logic that we need to put in place in order to actually pursue our passions and desires. But there's also going to be some volatile information that gets kind of thrown in our faces that has a lot to do with something that popped off about a year and a half ago. Piece that together, if you will. And on the global grand scale, on the stage of the collective, we are going to see a lot of anger, a lot of communication be had that isn't so happy-go-lucky, isn't so fun. Now, Gemini energy is very polarized. We have to live in the extremes. We have to debate it out in order for us to find the common middle ground. So in our own individual lives, this is definitely going to be the God of War cutting through our inner dialogue, our inner narrative, to chop up and cut through all of the blockages that are coming through our ego self, our unconscious self. We are really going to be questioning everything, questioning what we believe in, questioning who we are, questioning what we're fighting for. And like I said, with Mars being in Gemini from now until January, you best believe that we are going to emerge on that aspect once it is all said and done with a totally different perspective, a totally different understanding, a totally different idea on who we are, how we're operating in the world, what we actually want, and how we're going to get it. It is going to be a pretty aggressive battle in the mental field. But again, we're going to go low and slow. To begin, Mars will go retrograde. We'll have to move inward. We'll have to sort out our beliefs and what's blocking us and what it is that we actually define to be true about ourselves, what it is we actually are passionate and what it is we actually desire before Mars goes direct again. And then we get to pour our energy out into the world to start navigating the path, the direction that the retrograde showed us that we now need to travel. It's going to be a super interesting aspect. Of course, we will cover it as it gains momentum throughout the next couple of months, but we're definitely going to feel a lot of intensity, let's say, in the mental plane as we move through August. We do have the sun moving into Virgo season. This is a time where we get grounded, where we recognize what it is that we poured our time and energy into. Virgo season is kind of the time, the season where we have to look at what it is that we're actually harvesting from our energy, from our efforts in which we've all put forth. Virgo energy and earth energy ruled over by Mercury means that we have a huge opportunity to get disciplined, to get prepared. What are we doing? Well, we're reorganizing, we're restructuring our physical realm, our physical circumstances. This is a great time to pick apart our lives, especially where we just jump timelines. We are going to need a little bit of time to recalibrate, to realign, to readjust, to reorganize, to restructure. Not only our thoughts, not only our emotions, but our physical circumstances. This is about the time in the season where we see, you know what? Kids go back to school, vacations end. We come back down to earth. We need to get organized. We need to get focused. We need new routines, new health regimens. We need to make sure that we have enough time to deal with our responsibilities, our daily tasks, but also have enough time to make sure that the mind, the body, the soul equation is in balance. This is a time where we really do a number on our inner dialogue, what needs to be focused on, what needs to be built, what needs to be encouraged. We need to get down to the nitty-gritty of what needs to be strong enough in our lives as far as foundations go to actually house the changes that we're about to make. Uranus is going to be joining the other heavy-hitting planets in a retrograde at 18 degrees in Taurus. Uranus, being the great awakener, usually exerts his energy out in the world, having things pop off, information come in, paradigm shift, aha moments be had in our external realm for us to adapt to the changes that we know that we have to make in our physical circumstances. Uranus going retrograde means that we're doing the inner reflection, the awakening within us. We have to take a good look at where it is that maybe we're not so easily adapting to change, where it is that we're not open-minded, where it is that we're not as self-reliant as we were hoping we would be. This is going to, again, join forces with all the other heavy-hitting planets that are already in a retrograde to do the inner renovation needed in our inner realm. This will shock and awe us through our own information, our own experiences, our own emotions, our own memories, instead of having the stimulus outside in the world to shock and shift us into a new perspective and understanding. We're going to be doing the internal review that will have us popping off with light bulb moments, aha moments that change the way that we understand the world around us and ourselves, why we act certain way, while we feel certain ways, why are we blocking certain ways when all we're doing is praying for change, but then resist the change when it appears in our physical realm. This Uranian energy is very electric. We will likely see a rise in anxiety, central nervous system issues, because all of this energy is going to be trapped inside our inner realm. Mercury will then be moving into Libra. This is going to give us a chance to kind of balance the scales. Now, granted, we're going to be super indecisive because Libran energy. This particular energy is going to really test us in how strong we are in standing firm in some of the decisions, opinions, and choices that we've made for ourselves. If we look at the progression of events, this is trying to push us into doing what is right for ourselves. The downfall is that Mercury in Libra is a people-pleasing energy. We tend to go along with what other people want and think and really desire to do just because we don't want to rock the boat. This is going to be a true test to see how strong we are in our convictions of choosing what is right for us. The boundaries that we would have put in place will be tested, and we will have to see how strong we are in actually enforcing those boundaries, or whether we're going to just watch them be destroyed and cave and do what everybody else wants us to do. Now, Mercury in Libra is going to help us kind of balance out the mental plane. We're definitely going to need that with all the shifting that we would have done thus far in the calendar. It's also going to show us where it is that we have to focus a little bit more on happiness, on joy, on peace, on pleasure, because Lord knows we've been very, very deep in the psyche, dealing with some very deep matters. Again, all these heavy hitting planets are retrograde, doing a deep dive within our inner realm. Mercury in Libra is going to help us kind of lighten the vibe, make it a little bit more playful. In our energy exchanges and conversations, we are going to negotiate. We're going to meet a compromise. We're going to be more willing to cooperate. But again, the test comes in making sure that we're doing things fairly in favor for ourselves while still honoring the people that we love. This is going to be a tough energy because it really makes us nervous. It makes us question everything. We're looking outside of ourselves for validation. We're looking outside of ourselves for hints, for cues on what it is that we should do, because our indecisiveness is so freaking high in this Libran energy. All of this gets stirred up just before the new moon in Virgo at 4 degrees. And at 4 degrees, this is a brand new cycle of energy. The new moon in Virgo is likely going to be a time when we take all of the thoughts, all of the ideas that we had while Mercury was in Virgo, contemplating new habits, new routines, new ways of doing things, new ways of organizing, new ways of restructuring our days, our time, our energy, our efforts. We don't jump into things in Virgo energy. It's an earth energy, so we have to go very low and slow. We have to be sure. We have to analyze it right to death before we're actually certain in what it is that we want to bring to life. The new moon in Virgo is literally plucking out the good ideas that we've had to sit with for the whole month, really analyzing, really kind of digging deep into the details on what that would mean for new physical circumstances in our lives. And the new moon in Virgo is when we actually plant those seeds. Likely around Virgo topics and themes, a lot to do with healthy habits, with mental health issues, with new routines in our daily lives, new tasks, new chores, new ways of being of service in the world. Again, a lot of this isn't going to be new ideas. It's going to be the ideas that we started thinking about at the beginning of the month when Mercury moved into its place of power in Virgo. We're going to wrap up August with the true node, the soul's destiny point, semi-sextiling Chiron, the wounded healer. What I can tell you from this particular aspect is this is the point of no return. So earlier in the month, we were kind of gifted with choice points, with timeline jumps, with that Lionsgate portal. We would have aligned with one vibration, one frequency over the other shortly after that Lionsgate portal, moving into that full moon in Aquarius. Of course, all of the astro aspects that I just rattled off are going to contribute in us solidifying the path, the direction, the choice, the decision that we would have made by the end of the month. The true node, that destiny point, means that we are in alignment with the best path, with the best direction for our soul's potential. Chiron being retrograde, that wounded healer, means that a certain amount of realization has taken place within us, a certain deep dive into our wounds, into our healing journey, into what needs attention and integration has now come full circle. And with the true node semi-sextiling, which is a very positive aspect, mind you, with Chiron, the wounded healer, tells me that we're not so stuck in the wounds of the past, that we are now embodying the healing modalities in order to heal said wounds in this new timeline. This is going to be a huge weight off of our shoulders, off of our heart space. This is going to be a validation for us at the end of the month that we've chosen the right path, the right choice, the right direction for our heart and soul. This is going to be a beautiful setup, because as we move into September, this is literally when the new timelines, the new realities are noticeable in our physical realm. So guys, that is August in a nutshell. And I say a nutshell, even though I've been ranting for a half hour now. Of course, I will be breaking down each astro event, the pros and cons, how we can work with it, as they become a little bit closer in the calendar. But what you should know, if you're interested, is to download the August calendar with all of the energy events so that you can best plan your month in accordance to the energy and what it is that we know will be popping off. August is going to happen very quick. It is going to happen with a sudden burst of energy, and then it's going to feel like we hit a brick wall once we get into that earth energy of Virgo. There's a lot of change, a lot of transformation taking place literally within the very first 2 weeks, a full illumination mid-month on the choices that we've made thus far, and then we have to get down to the nitty-gritty of the choices that we've made. We have to strategize, we have to plan, we really have to look at what it is that we need to be doing, mind, body, and soul in our physical realms to really embody and embrace the new choices, the new decisions, the new direction and path that our heart and soul has already chosen. So I hope you have a beautiful new August. Stick around. Let's jump into the very first astro event of the month.